we're starting to try to look at revitalizing existing nodes and revitalizing areas. Is this something that can be looked at for downtown and as a general planning concept, rather than putting something out in the woods or out away from existing transportation and population nodes, we put the emphasis on putting it downtown, and can that be practical? Thank you.
I thank you for letting me stand because I have to run in a minute, but this is directed at our selectmen, and that is that there are very few people here representing the entire town right now. I'm sure there are a lot more people out there that couldn't get here who want to know what's going on, who have maybe written letters. I know my wife and I have written to Paul, who have very good questions also. And I'd like to just know how you folks are going to take our questions, other people's questions who aren't here tonight, other people's letters, put it all together, and then how you're going to let us know what those answers to the questions are, so that we can respond later on, whether it be in the paper, in the meeting, however.
My guesses are, I indicated I took a simple poll. We're going to, I'm sure, appoint a committee of as broad spectrum as we can representing the town, and there'll be a meeting hearing process. It's going to have to be accelerated just because of what's going on here with the speed we have to work on. And then it'll be bi-directional, utilizing both TAB, probably the directions, and probably Channel 8 TV here in town.
Because there should be two-way communication.
Absolutely.
Back
That's
and forth.
the point of the process. David?
I'll be very brief, John, and I'll speak for my chair. I hope this is the beginning of a more developed process for getting public input, and I hope that people really do take the time to stay with this, because I think the team really needs to hear from everybody. And I have faith that the selectmen will create a process that really allows for it. Relative to what was said earlier, I simply want to say this. Mr. Engstrom's had a lot of difficulties at that site, and I understand that. Frankly, I spent an awful lot of time working with Mr. Engstrom and the DPW, perhaps more than any other constituent I've had, to try to respond to concerns that that individual raised. I was not able to change the rules. I got advice that I accepted from experts that a waiver was not possible. I will simply say this. Those of you who know me recognize that lying to the public is not something that I do. Libel laws do not apply to public officials. We have no defense except to simply say that I did my best in this circumstance. I would prefer an alternative result, but I do not lie to you.
Are there other points to be made, John, and then Mr. Keller, and then actually, you haven't spoken yet, have you, sir? All right, so after John, we're next. Go ahead, John. You are a true gentleman, John. Thank you. That might be the first time you've ever yielded the mic.
Tom Dorsey, Oak Ridge Lane. Just concerning, we all know we're stuck with the whistles at the grade clock crossings. I didn't hear the answer. If there's a station, does Conrail or Amtrak, whoever, have a requirement to blow as they pass through a station area, or the commuter rail when it stops there? That would be an additional source of noise pollution.
Crossing.
It doesn't affect the station if it's not near a grade crossing.
Grade crossing. We've tried to stop it, and we've gotten nowhere.
There's a good answer right there.
There are certain isolated instances where you have to blow a station, but not as a norm. And that's a great crossing. We can talk about that after.
I assume it's an emergency situation, they can blow a horn anywhere. That's understandable.
John?
A couple of quick follow-ups. David had mentioned the fact that...
John, could you go back to the mic so I can hear you on the TV?
Okay. David had mentioned, and people up front here had mentioned that there may be a problem of losing the T subsidy that comes back through the cherry sheet. It's my understanding that somewhere around a year and a half ago, the former manager of the MBTA, and I believe some people from the State House area, expressed the opinion that the further extension of the T from Framingham on out was going to be handled under different financing or different grant factors and would not affect those particular monies given to the perimeter communities. I guess my questions are directed to all three entities, our local board, David, and the T people. Could someone please give us an update and
Paul and
clarification?
David are joint. We don't know, we quite simply don't know the answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Please.
One quick follow-up question. Mr. Ellsworth brought up at the beginning, seemed quite surprised, and so did, I think, a lot of people in here. The 495 station, when was that considerably ruled out? And okay, I had to answer that one first.
I think when you look at the marsh area that's out there, it creates some substantial problems in the time frame that we're talking about for these stations and these improvements. Secretary Taylor's office continues to be interested in working with Conrail to see if they can find a way to achieve a station out there.
But it was ruled out, right? That's what you said?
You've got two levels of government here. I mean, we have the MBTA and we have a project underway to put service to Worcester in a reasonable time frame. Secretary Taylor's office, as I said, still recognizing a longer time frame than what we're looking at. It's still interested in trying to explore the possibilities of a station in that general area. But it would involve the Turnpike and the the Mass Highway Department.
So as the process goes through Ashland, there is still a possibility that it could go to 495
Eventually.
eventually. Now, with that being out, is that going to impact the other towns or the decisions or the choices by the MBTA in the town of Ashland? There was going to be a large station there. So if there was such a large station there, there could have been smaller stations along the line. But by ruling out that station, it's going to change every other station on the line that's going to be coming up. Because that was the original study, and now it seems that that's different. So is that definitely going to change every other station?
It seems from conversations here, discussions here, that people tend to want smaller stations. We still have this problem of the ridership estimates are on a basis of 250 to 2,800 people one way in the daytime, in the morning. So we have to find automobile space for those numbers.
Okay, and one last question. The changes that are made, are you relating those to the townspeople? Because it doesn't seem that you are. It seems as though that a lot of, from Mr. Mignani and the Selectman's office, that these changes that have occurred, you're not letting the townspeople know.
The changes were being communicated. They happened in a way that caught us by surprise.
So it was nothing that the MBTA avoided.
The presentation tonight on the sites is no different than what we saw a year, 18 months ago. The sites were all the same, with one major exception. One site went away.
One of them, which was the major
Which
site.
had, we think, a big impact on us.
Yes.
We may change our minds after all this process is over. Disappearance of that one site caused a substantial concern in our minds. That's how this meeting happened. Are there any other jokes? You had a point you wanted to make.
Just two questions then, and one's to Mr. Renane, who was with the Chamber of Commerce. If this site should go downtown, regarding the downtown station site, where will the train stop? Will it stop across the gates itself so that we have tie-ups downtown, number one? And number two, for the people that have businesses downtown, I know they would like to have more people, utilizing coffee shops, et cetera, new stores, Cumberland Farms, so on and so forth. You're going to have to put some type of pedestrian crosswalk over the tracks. I don't know if you people have seen what those pedestrian crosswalks look like, but they're mammoth monstrosities. I don't know if we want to have that downtown. So, I guess the first question is,
Where are they going to stop?
where are they going to stop the train?
How are they going to cross the tracks?
Right.
Charlie or Bob?
Yeah. Well, certainly, when we're able to, you don't want the train to stop in such a way that it blocks the signals and the gates are down. So the train would have to be, I guess, close enough to Framingham so that it's outside the signals that control that gate. Might have to modify the signals right at the gate in order to achieve that. I think that comes into station design and how we handle pedestrians going from one side to the other. We still haven't ruled out with Conrail how we would operate on that line. So the issue of footbridge or no footbridge is still ahead of us.
Okay, I have to apologize. Gary Brixton's been very patient back there. He's had his hand up, and I've been looking the other way, and then here's that.
Thank you, John. I gathered from what you've said that the process from here is continued dialogue. But every other state agency that this town has ever dealt with, or authority, has had a specific public participation program, a set of regulations, a set of guidelines, a regular dog and pony show that you could rely on in terms of time and activity. An off-again, on-again conversation with certain people, as much as we appreciate your being here tonight, doesn't give me the sense that we have a handle on this process. And I asked the question before, if we decided as a town, or as a Board of Selectmen, or the Board of Selectmen decides that we as a town do not want that site at Howe Street, can you stand here tonight and assure us that we will not get the site at Howe Street for this station? And if not, then where do we have to go to try to get that control over our own destiny here?
I'm not in a position to make decisions for my board of directors.